Hello, and welcome to the first installment of the new Downshift podcast. We're still looking to come up with a name for this. We're probably going to do this weekly, but I would like to do it weekly anyway. We have a lot of great people on our staff, as well as really talented cyclists here in Roanoke, so it'd be great to have guests. It'd be great to talk about all the ongoing things we have in the cycling community here. It'd be great to talk about events that are going on in Roanoke, rides that people have gone on, activities that involve cycling in the Roanoke area. And we're going to wing it for this first one and then see how it goes. We'll make edits and changes as we go along, but we're excited to bring this to you. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and we're finally able to kind of take some time and put some effort into this. So our first featured speaker here today is Josh Nolan. You may know Josh from the Downshift Cafe, as well as some group rides and some other stuff. So Josh has been around for how long?
About a year, coming up on a year.
Oh, when's your anniversary?
Late November.
Oh, cool. Josh, if everybody doesn't know this already, was a cyclist for Jimmy John's. He was a delivery person.
Here and in Colorado. Yeah.
And so what brought you into Downshift to get started? How did you find out about us?
Actually,
you have an interesting story about that, I think, don't you?
Well, kind of. I parked up the street, for Jimmy John's. So I'd ride by Downshift every day. And then I asked someone, what is Downshift? And they're like, oh, yeah, we got all of our bike stuff done over there. And so they're like, yeah, you should go check it out. And I think I had a flat or something anyway. So I came in, had that fixed, and I got a London Fog, I think, the first day.
Who made it?
I think it was Abby.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But
cool.
Yeah, I heard about it through Jimmy John's, actually.
Right.
So,
and most, if not all, the Jimmy John's drivers use Downshift for
Yes.
service.
I mean, the other day, literally all four of them came in one day.
In one day, yeah. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's a flat fix. Mm-hmm. But we have a driver that has an e-bike that we've configured for him. And let's just say the bike is in major need of repair. But he's in pretty often. And we added a kit to his bike, so he's able to zoom around and deliver. And Roger comes in, and he's great. We see him on his bike all the time. Justin is on his bike all the time. Yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to support a business that has bike riders as their primary source of transportation. So that's really neat to be able to be downtown and support that business. So you left Jimmy John's, you came to work for Downshift, and like you said, it's been about a year. As we transition this business into more online stuff and more events and things, we're going to talk to you more about the events that you have planned here for the future. Before I get into that, we just wanted to touch on an event that's scheduled for Friday the 9th of October. It's going to start at 10 a.m. here at Downshift. It is called Coffee, Cycling, and Conversation. It's put on by the Parks and Rec Department, Roanoke Parks and Rec. And so Roanoke Parks and Rec has a group ride, and then it's varying distance, varying route. So it's not anything specific that we can talk about right now, but if you show up, it's meant to be for beginners. So if you're a beginner rider, come on and check this out. They include a coffee or a kombucha after the ride, and then you get to hang out on the Downshift patio up top. So it's a really cool event. It's $10. The registration happens on the Roanoke Parks and Rec website. You can find those details from our Facebook page on the events tab. Again, that's the 9th at 10 a.m. Meet at Downshift, bring a bike, and come and enjoy some good coffee, cycling, and conversation. Next up is an event on the 10th. And so the 10th is Saturday, and we are calling it
Arttoberfest.
Arttoberfest. We thought about miles of meat, but we decided against that. Maybe a little more PC, or at least a little more descriptive with Arttoberfest. So the gist of it is it's a group ride followed by some awesome barbecue. And Josh will kind of give us some details about the event itself.
Yeah, so the ride part of it anyways. So we're taking off from Downshift. It's about an 8-mile ride. I think it's exactly 8 miles. And it's going to local murals and other art things that are outside in Roanoke, as well as kind of meandering through some of the neighborhoods. So it'd be really good to get to know Roanoke, or it'd be good to get to know sort of the art scene, at least the street art or the outside art scene in Roanoke. And it's a little hilly, so if you're going on it, just expect some hills. But I think we eliminated most of the really big hills that are on it, so it shouldn't be too hard. But just a nice casual 8-mile kind of fun ride to look around Roanoke and see some of the cool art. Because there's a few big name artists that have done projects here in Roanoke.
Interesting. So what makes somebody a big name artist? Nationality, international? What's
just their background, or just the art itself. Tubes, for example. I don't know his full name, but
Tubes Muir.
Yeah, he's from California, and then he came here and he does a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. there's a lot of good art here,
Right.
which is surprising. I mean, I'm sort of new to Roanoke, and I
Right.
didn't know about it until.
So can you give us a teaser, and like is some of it like sculpture, paintings, murals? Like is it all a mix of the above, or what?
It's actually all of those. It's mostly murals, so like big scale wall murals, or like there's a bunch that are under bridges, things like that. But there's also some like sculpture gardens that we're going to be going through, like on the Greenway and in
Yeah.
Elmwood Park. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so if somebody wants to come on this ride and they're a beginner, and like let's say they've got like a single speed cruiser, would you say they should rent an e-bike from us or use that bike? Like give us kind of your best guess as far as the route
A
goes.
single speed. I mean, it depends on the rider's strength. I feel like in that case, because there's a lot of hills, but. If it were me, I feel like it'd be more comfortable on an e-bike. This
Yeah.
was actually originally designed for an e-bike tour, but I mean, it doesn't stop anyone from using like a geared bike or even a single speed if you're a comfortable rider. But the hills might get in the way a little bit. But it's very casual. We're not going to be like racing or anything. So.
Right. And I think we've limited the event to 40 tickets. And so the tickets are being sold on our website, downshiftbikes.com. What you'll see is it's a $20 charge for the ticket. And what's great about that is that's going to get you the ride, led by yours truly over here, and a barbecue lunch out of it. And so we're doing a meat and two sides. And the barbecue is being prepared by Dan Presley, who's a famous barbecue expert here in Roanoke. But we hope to see everybody out. And if you decide you don't want to pay for the event and do the ride, you can actually come to Golden Cactus after 1 o'clock, and we're going to have the barbecue station set up. And so it's going to be a great day. Oktoberfest. Golden Cactus is going to have beer specials running, good barbecue to hang out, and hopefully the weather's good. We can be outside, socially distanced, eat some good food, drink some good beer, talk about the art ride, talk about everything we saw there. And if nothing else, just enjoy a nice Saturday in October. I'm trying to think if I have any other questions for you about the actual route. So would you say beginner, intermediate, or just intermediate? Okay.
I'd say beginner, intermediate.
Beginner,
it's
intermediate.
nothing super.
8
and
miles,
I have,
right?
Yeah, and I have info on the art itself, so like it'll be informative too.
Okay.
Like even if people have seen these things over and over again, I might have information that they didn't know previously.
Right.
So.
And the route details are on Ride with GPS, but that link is in the event description too, so you can see the route and where it goes through Roanoke City. And again, that starts at Downshift at noon and then ends at Golden Cactus at about 1:30 or so. So if you don't want to go on the ride, meet us at Golden Cactus at 1:30 and we'll be hanging out and drinking beer and eating good barbecue. We have a fancy new grill that you may be able to see back there that we're really excited to try out. So that'll be pretty cool. Again, the expert barbecuer, Dan Presley, is going to be out helping us. Awesome. So I think that's all we have for the events that are coming up this week. We do want to talk more about events in the future, and so tune in next week. We'll talk about the further events we have. We've got a great mountain bike ride, a shuttled mountain bike ride. We have a waffle ride coming up. We have another coffee outside ride, which we're still kind of creating the details of. And then here's a hint that a lot of people don't know. We're actually going to do another party ride that we haven't done in a long time for Halloween. So that's going to be super, super cool and exciting. Have you been on a party ride?
Nope. Not a real
Josh,
one.
party ride virgin over here, hasn't actually been on one. It is fantastic. We'll talk details about that later. So we're going to take a little break here. We're going to switch gears and kind of come at you with some information about the Creeper Trail. So stand by, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Maddie here to talk about our Creeper Trail ride. And so we're going to have a few people on. And Maddie, the whole Downshift crew went and did the Creeper Trail. We were all new. None of us, well, actually Kevin did it once, right? So he's already been on
He
there.
hiked part of it.
He hiked
from
part of it.
the AT, yeah.
Cool.
Never ridden it.
I've never ridden it. She's never ridden it. Josh never ridden it. You never ridden it, right? So Greg hasn't ridden it either. So yeah, Greg rode half of it. Okay. Well, that's cool, actually. That'll be good to have Greg. So we're going to interview everybody, just a little short segment here about what we thought of it. And so just getting into the start, like we to tell you what we did, we took the Downshift van and we drove down in the evening and stayed in Abington. And we stayed at a little Airbnb, which was really nice. And Abington's a cool town. It's really sort of what I would call like quaint southern old town. We got some food, we hung out, we shared some stories, we watched the debate, which was interesting in and of itself. But the accommodations in Abington were great. It was a really nice spot, and it was a really nice place to stay. And then we took a shuttle from Abington to the top of the trail with a local shuttle company, and then rode the entire length of the trail, so 33 miles, all the way back to Abington. and it took us all day, like literally all day. And so I think we did 33 miles in how many hours, Greg? 9, 10?
8 at least.
8
I
and
would say
change.
8, yeah.
8 and change, yeah.
Yeah.
So really slow pace, but it was a party pace, right? I mean, we stopped for beer, we stopped for lunch, we stopped at the sites, at waterfalls. I mean, it was incredible. And so if you're thinking about doing this ride, just remember that, over 33 miles, you may say, oh, it's going to take me 3 hours because I'm fast. No, you want to enjoy it. You want to relax, be casual, take in the sights, enjoy the time with company too. So just jump in and give me your kind of overall big picture.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you some questions.
Yeah. We'll start off by saying that I moved to Virginia almost 2 years ago, and the natural beauty of the state is just unreal. Moving from Colorado, the mountains, having that lush, greenery, I just can't get enough of it. So this is my favorite time of year. So of course I'm excited. We're going to go do a ride during my favorite time of the year. It's nice and cool. I know that we're going to start a little higher, so I'm thinking like this is going to be lovely. The trees actually started changing colors. So as we're driving on these windy roads, you're just kind of looking around and you see properties and you're seeing homesteads that are just picturesque. So that started off, that's where it started off. Obviously the Airbnb the night before was amazing. The gather in, we had a really nice pizza party. Just brought snacks and so that was fun. But anyway, the shuttle the next morning, we kind of got our stuff together, headed down there pretty quickly. And then when we started off, you worry about what to wear, what to bring. We packed a backpack. I just kind of thought if I have this or this or this or that, I'll make it work. And we did. Started off. Honestly, I feel like when we started off in that parking lot, we saw a couple other shuttles get off, which is like, okay, cool. There's other people coming around. I think our shuttle driver knew the other must be like a big, they're used to it up there. But when we started off with our group, you worry about restrooms and stuff. They were there, but because of COVID, you're like, okay, we'll make that work too, wherever we need it. But we started off, and quite honestly, it was a pretty quick pace. I had no idea, you hear it's downhill, but it really was, you didn't have to pedal at all. In fact, I think I was more on the brakes than the beginning part of the ride than I was the entire rest of the day. So say those first 15, at least halfway, all the way to Damascus. Rolling through those. I mean, it had rained a couple days before. We were told it was going to be, maybe bridges were going to be slick. Maybe there might be some puddles. And there was a few puddles here and there, but nothing you can't get around. I didn't think it was overly muddy. I don't have any fenders on my bike, so I just kind of rolled with it. And let's see, we got into Damascus after that. I feel like the first couple beer stops were just, we came across the Green Collective, which was just a diamond in the rough.
Right, yes. Super
diamond
cool
in the rough.
Shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll post the link to that his page in the comments here, and so you definitely check that out. That was high up on the trail,
Very
too,
high.
right?
Yes.
So that was within the first 5 miles or so?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little like artists sort of, he's created this brand and has all this great adventure gear, and it's like he's got coffee, and it definitely worth stopping at if you're doing the trail.
You had music going, so whenever you came up on it, you were like, oh man, something's going on. We just got to find it. And there were signs. It was even a bike rack and a little bridge. And so, walked in there, warmed up, got coffee, kind of checked out, got a couple patches and stickers and things like that. Got his story, which was wonderful. But after that, continued on, feeling like, again, just looking around at everything and the creek or whatever it was along the side of it. Good looking level, just beautiful water, made you want to drink out of it, honestly. Got all the way down to Damascus. We had heard from the guy at Scott from the Green Collective that there was a couple lunch spots in Damascus, so he told us, this Wicked Chicken place was the first one he named off, I think, and it was, sure enough, it was the first one that we came across. Some good-looking vans and cars and, good-looking people outside hanging out on their patio. So we stopped there for lunch and had a great menu, great people. The service was wonderful. Draft beer, which that was
from
our
Damascus
first
Brewery too.
Yeah, from the Damascus Brewery. And then we hung out there for a while, I feel like. Got some food, and we even biked around. I think before we stopped there, we just kind of checked out the rest of the surrounding area, and there's some other options too. There was a diner, there was, But you can just tell that that's a hub for all these different trails. You know, the AT, we've got the Creeper Trail, and then, you know, just the town of Damascus. I feel like it was a hub for all these, you know, activities that you could start to go do. And yeah, so Damascus was great. We hung out there for a while and then continued on, and it did kind of level out. Not really. I mean, I just feel like it was, I don't know, gorgeous ride. And bridges, the you know, architecture of some of these, you're stopping over and you're looking down, and you know, it's just
200-year-old
amazing,
like, wooden trestles. Yeah.
Yes, so got a lot of pictures of that, and you know, just that crisp air. And you know, there's livestock here, livestock there. Never really got any kind of stagnant feel. You know, it was, yes, covered the whole way, but I felt like the breeze and everything, since you're going a little downhill, was just wonderful. Yeah. No bugs. I didn't really notice any kind of issues with that. And yeah, my bike did fine.
What bike did you ride? Tell the audience here.
I rode a Surly Straggler. It's my newest bike. I love it so much. It's basically like Steve actually built it, you know, in a roundabout way, and then I ended up buying it from somebody else. But yeah, it's a wonderful bike. It's basically, I had a cross check before that. It's a cross check with disc brakes, essentially, and Steve did a great job building it out. It fits me like a glove, really, honestly. I got some Surly Nard tires on there. They're 650B. They're a wonderful tire. I was really pleased with them.
I felt left out because I was the only one without a Surly. So.
Yeah, true. But no, so yeah, my bike did wonderful. I rode, you know, my tires, I rode to a full like 60 PSI the whole way. Didn't have any issues with flats or, you know, I don't have tubeless set up yet, but we're going to get there. So, but anyway, yeah. Cool. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, when we finished, yeah, it was, I started my watch, didn't stop it the whole way, and I kept checking, and yep, sure enough, it was about, I had like 7-ish hours or something, almost 8, but I started it a little later. Yep. And yeah, just a full day of fun with good people.
Which section did you like better? Did you like the White Top to Damascus or Damascus to Abington?
I'm going to say the Damascus to Abington. I really enjoyed some of those open, like, fields and stuff, and then having those cliffs. I feel like most of that was kind of over that way. Yep. I like that. It reminded me a lot more of, I grew up in Missouri, and so the Katy Trail reminded me a lot of that. Yeah. The beginning part, though, in the morning, I don't know, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
They're
definitely much more covered and almost canyons and stuff.
Where you're kind of rolling through that. But, you know, I love that, too. I just felt like the Damascus to Abington, it was kind of like, I think I started to savor it even more, you know, because you're like, oh, I know we're over halfway, so... Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
If you were to go back and do it again, would you do anything differently?
Would I do anything different? I bring more beer. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like we had everything we needed.
Yeah. It was a good day.
Just wish there were like more people. You know, like bring more people and have maybe just different groups started off. But no, I don't know that I would change anything.
Right. Yeah. It was a pretty perfect day.
It was perfect.
The weather was great. The company was great. The beer was good. Like, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like. From my standpoint, like it was definitely an all-day event, which was fine. But like if you want to do that ride, you just have to commit to an all-day event.
Yes.
Which is good for some people, but if you have other obligations or family or something like that, you just have to remember that you're going to be there for a while. But yeah, beautiful scenery, just fantastic ride.
We saw a lot of different age groups too. Like the people that we passed, I feel like there were families, and then there were people that probably just did that for a living and just drove around and did that. And I don't know, it was really great. Yeah, to see all of that. Yeah.
Any other thoughts or comments?
Thoughts or comments? Not really. Yeah, just again putting it all together was the biggest hassle. I think that a lot of people can't get to, or just conceptually there's a lot of things that you got to connect to. So for you to kind of spearhead that really made it a huge success.
Yeah, and that's a good segue into we're going to be doing more of these trips, and so stay tuned to the Downshift events page because we're going to have trips down to the Creeper Trail, probably mostly half day segments or overnights. So we'll be doing it in a little bit differently, but the trail is the same. So we're excited to kind of bring that to you guys probably next spring and summer.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Maddie.
Yeah,
appreciate
of course.
your comment.
Of course.
Welcome back. So, continuing our conversation about the Creeper Trail, we had a total of 6 riders with us, and there were 2 couples and 2 singles, and Greg is one of the other couples. And Greg, talk to me about kind of the doing it as a couple and like your experience with your partner and kind of, you know, your expectations and how it went as a pair, and just kind of start there.
Well, my wife Stacy and I have done some similar rides before. We a few years back rode from Pittsburgh to DC on the that was also Rails to Trails on the Great Allegheny Passage and the C&O Trail. And actually, Maddie and Kevin did the same thing just earlier this year, too.
Yeah.
So we've done similar stuff. And it's always a blast. It's always a bit of a learning curve. I've done tours by myself, too, and sometimes that's simpler in the sense that you just go and don't think about anything. But Stacy's a great rider, a great partner for that kind of thing. And we had a great time. We weren't completely sure if she'd get the time off from work, but we were able to do it at the last minute, so that was a blast.
Yeah.
And her bike held up great too. She's riding on the REI touring bike, the Novara, I think it's called.
Yep.
And that held up great. It's
Like 700 by 40 maybe, or 38s, or what were they? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Not maybe.
They weren't
38.
super
They're
wide.
not super wide.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it held up great. That I was riding my Surly Long Haul Trucker, which is also just a regular touring bike. It's not really nothing too fancy, but the rail to trail, the gravel it's easy to ride on.
Yeah, it's almost paved.
It's practically paved.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's close
Yeah,
enough.
and that crushed cinder, which was cool too, is like we had a lot of rain the night before, and a lot of the spots were dry. It wasn't even like any evidence of water, which was crazy that it could drain that fast. There were a little bit of mud, but for the most part, the trail was very dry.
I was surprised.
Yeah, no
it poured
mud
hard
splatter.
the day before.
Yep.
But the trail rode great.
Yeah.
Easy to do for any kind of beginners. Anyone who's never done it before, I would say.
Right.
Don't sweat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've done half of it already, you said?
I had, yeah. So Stacey and I actually did it a few years back. We just did the section from Damascus to Abingdon. So
Okay.
we didn't do that big downhill part.
Yeah.
And that was great before. We had a great time doing it before. But honestly, I think that section from the top, from White Top to Damascus was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
It was so nice. It was so scenic. I liked it a lot. You're just far away from the roads. There's no car traffic to listen to.
Fewer people too. I
Fewer
feel like.
people.
Yeah.
It's all downhill.
Like literally, like you can like kick and then go.
Yeah.
With no pedaling.
It's so nice. I would be interested. I would love to try going up it and then down it. I think that'd be a fun challenge. But
Yeah.
but honestly, it's great to just get that shuttle up to the
Right,
top. You know?
right, yeah, yep. And then give me your thoughts on like the pace. Like, would you, if you weren't part of a group, would you have gone slower? Would you have gone faster? How would you have sort of split your day? Like, what would you have done?
I love the pace we did it at. It was,
Yeah.
like we were talking before, it's the real party pace, which is great.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted, if I was by myself, I'd be tempted to just go super fast and just
Yep.
see what that's like.
Yeah.
And just blast through it. But I don't know. It's so perfect. I mean, the scenery is so beautiful. You don't want to miss anything. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
great to go nice and slow.
Yeah, I mean, we saw waterfalls. We saw, just tons and tons of rhododendron. I mean, I can't imagine what the rhododendron and Mountain Laurel look like when they're blooming up there. I mean, it must have been incredible. The leaves are starting to turn. They're probably 2 weeks ahead of us in the fall right now, but
Probably.
crisp temperatures. Yeah, like these, and I really like the sort of the blasted canyons, that came that you rode through. That was really neat. If you've done a rail to trail, they're all pretty similar in their grade and in their kind of appearance. But what I was surprised about was just like how sort of like flowy and straight and easy the whole thing was. Like no potholes, no ruts. It was just like pristine riding for 33 miles.
Yeah, for sure. I've done rails to trails in a lot of places like the Allegheny Passage, C&O Trail. I've done some in Wisconsin, West Virginia, the New River Trail, and frankly, I think the Creeper Trail was probably the most beautiful of all of them. I mean, it was really, especially that, like I said, in that section from White Top to Damascus was got them all beat, in my opinion.
Yeah. Would you now? I know we just talked briefly about your bike. Like, did you like the performance of the bike? Would you have changed anything? Would you have ridden a different bike if you had a choice? Like, how would you want to tell people out there?
So I was riding the long haul trucker. I think it did great. I had even had fenders on it, which you didn't need really at all. But I think that the bike did great. I would do a different bike next time just to try something different.
Yeah.
I've also got my Karate Monkey, which is more of a mountain bike setup. I'll probably ride that next time just to see what that's like and just try something different. But
Right.
the long haul trucker held up just great.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah, another Surly rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you ever so give me kind of a comparison between the other rails to trails that you've done in the Creeper Trail, just with like expectations. Like you always have a kind of a predetermined expectation when you go and do these rides. Like, is it different than what you expect? Is it kind of similar? So if other people out there have ridden rails to trails, how does this compare to those?
It's about the same. Let me think. So in terms of the surface, the riding surface is about the same. It's like we're talking about easy hard pack gravel. The Creeper Trail I think is a little steeper than other rails to
Yeah,
trails,
especially that top section.
especially that top section, which I wouldn't. Again, it's not steep. It's not actually steep, but it's just steeper than others. Like, I mean, a lot of rails to trails are just really, really level, and that one section is not level. It's a
Yeah.
definite downhill when
Yeah.
you go from the top.
I almost felt like the top was more advanced, and then the second section was more beginner. You know what I mean?
Definitely,
And
yeah.
you saw that in the riders, I think, too. Like a lot more runners and kind of families, and maybe some older people on the lower section.
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
More younger, kind of athletic, performance riders. Let's just say on the
Right,
top.
right, yeah. And we saw some going up the hill too.
Right. Yeah.
Early in the morning.
Yep.
But yeah, that's definitely the case. But it's not like I said, it's not super steep.
Right.
It's
You're
very.
not- I think we did 500 feet of gain over 3 miles.
And that was just all at the end too,
Yeah.
coming up into Abington. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Well, any other comments or thoughts that we haven't talked about yet?
The only thing I would change
Yeah.
next time is that this ride, you usually get dropped off at White Top and go down the hill all the way to Abington. But if you actually go the other direction, you can ride into North Carolina. That's right. It's about 1 more mile in the other direction.
Yeah.
And it looked completely abandoned.
Yeah.
I don't think no one even goes out there. And I would love to do that again. I would love to just go the other direction for a mile and then come back to the top
yeah.
of White Top and just see what it's like
Yeah.
out there.
And if there's like maybe a state line sign or something,
I
that
think
would
it
be
goes
really cool.
into North Carolina,
It does,
and I have
yeah.
no idea what it's going to
Toby or what was it
I
called?
forget what it's called.
Yeah.
But I'd love to do that.
That's a
next
good.
time.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I agree.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's great. Perfect weather, perfect ride,
Yeah. Great.
good pace,
Well,
good
thanks,
people.
Greg.
Yeah.
Appreciate your comments.
Yeah.
All right. See you soon. Okay. Welcome back. So we are going to end our podcast today with a little product feature. We'd like to do this probably every week, where we talk about something that we like, both personally and professionally. And today we've got this DT Swiss. This is a 350 hub. This is a straight pull center lock front hub. But DT Swiss, if you're not familiar with them, make really high quality, mostly hubs and rims. Do they make spokes? I think they make spokes too, right?
They're actually a big supplier of spokes, so they make the whole work. So they do spokes, rims, and hubs for literally every application. What's really nice is each model of hub, they have a whole bunch of different options, so you can choose between literally for any application. So like if you want a straight pull hub, they make a straight pull hub for every application. If you want J-bend, they make J-bend for every application. It's really, really nice. They're really versatile, and they're really durable.
Yeah, and this is, so you can tell, I mean, you probably can't really see this at home, but this is definitely a really nicely well-machined aluminum body. It's got sealed bearings. It's relatively lightweight, and they make some really high-end stuff too. Like the 350 is the low end, and it's still pretty awesome. The thing that I super duper like about these is the end caps are removable, and so this hub can convert to QR. It can convert to 12 or 15 through axle. So it's neat that you can do that on these hubs. They're really future proof in that sense. I've got 2 wheel sets with DT Swiss hubs in it. I have a gravel wheel set and I have an adventure wheel set, both using the 350 hub. But they're J-bends, they're not straight pulls. And I don't have any, no, I do. I have a DT Swiss rim wheel set as well with the rim and the hubs. And so rock solid, super true, super reliable, lightweight, good cost for value ratio too. So they're not super duper expensive. They're not like Zip. You can build or buy a DT Swiss wheel set. Do you know what they start at? 350, 400 bucks maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Depending on what application you're wanting to do, if you're into mountain biking, I think their basic spline is kind of like their entry level wheel set, and I think a spline wheel set is roughly around $350 to $400, which when it comes to a wheel set, that's not a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
The hubs are really nice. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure how much the hubs cost. The nice thing about them is the 350, which is what we have here, is the base hub option. So you can get wheels that have a little bit less expensive of a hub on them, But if you wanted to just buy the hub, this is the lowest end you can get. And these things, you'll never have any problems with these. These things are bulletproof, and if you do run into a situation where you've ridden them so hard that you need to service them, it's really nice because they use standard bearings. So you can just order bearings from basically any company that fits in the hub, and should be good to go.
$90 retail for that guy. So
for this one.
for the 350 straight pull.
Yep.
So check him out at downshiftbikes.com. Come in, check it out if you want. We can order a wheel set for you. We can build wheels for you, custom wheel builds here. We can do it all in house. Just let us know how we can help. So thank you all very much for tuning in today to the Downshift podcast, name TBD. But yeah, thank you, Wes. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Josh. And thank you, Greg, for all your comments and feedback and help today. We're looking forward to doing this again every week. So stay tuned both on YouTube and on your favorite podcast listening service. What did we say? SoundCloud.
We'll get on Apple
Podcatcher.
Podcasts.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll update everybody. Yeah, there we go. Spotify, all those good things. So thanks, guys, very much. We'll catch you soon, and hopefully we'll see you out on the ride someday.